Welcome back to Super Tuesday recap. It is Chris and D-Palm here, and it's funny. We're doing a double show today. We're working on 2 episodes. One is the end of a season. One is a show coming back from a break. So we're here with the season finale, season 2, episode 17 of Legends of Tomorrow, Aruba. When a massive time quake rocks the ship while the legends are preparing for the next destination, they must break a cardinal rule of time travel. That is not what happened in this episode, but fuck it. We'll allow it. Dude, this season has been bravo. This season,
and you know what? It kind of hit me watching it. I did a little rewatch this time. I'm not gonna lie. This is the Sara Lance Show.
Oh, nigga, yes.
It's a show about it's about her growth as a character and a person, and centering the show. And the reason it's so impactful and so good is because if you go back to the origins of the show, the most well-defined character, the biggest character loss from one of the 2 shows that gave up characters was Sara Lance.
Absolutely.
And so she was the most developed, most fully understood character. So even in season 1, when they wanted you to care about the Hawks, all we gave a fuck about was Sara. And how she should be captain.
Well, yeah, I mean...
It felt like they listened, gave us Sara as captain, and it goes from her wanting to break the laws of time to by killing Damien Dark in the beginning of the season to the very end being like, you don't get socks with those shoes, man. It's like, what? Yeah, sorry. That's your reality now.
Yeah, like, that's when it hit me when she was fighting Damien. I was like, oh, well, this time she gets to kill him because... what the fuck? Why not? Right? She'll be able to kill Damien Dark at this point. And then I realized I was like, oh wait, no, she's not going to do that. And then when you see, like, again, she makes that decision of, nope, we're just going to take you right back to the beginning where you got picked up last time. You're not going to remember this shit. This is you. I'm okay with my future, and I've accepted that. I know you haven't, so your life is going to suck. And
what happened to Merlin? Did they just kill Merlin?
I don't know. No. They just dropped him back off at his. Because they said it. They dropped him back off at his shitty apartment.
Okay. Right.
He got dropped like Malcolm Merlin. Like, I think he might got. If you think about it, Malcolm Merlin gets the worst punishment out of everyone because everyone else either dies or they go about their lives. Malcolm Merlin is the only one that got brought back got taken from his present. He was picked up. He was picked up, literally sitting on his couch with his fucked up hand, drinking a beer in this shitty, like, terrible apartment. Like, he gets dropped. Like Malcolm Merlin. Damien Dark gets to. Yeah, he's gonna eventually die, but he's gonna live his full life, right? Snart, it got picked up 2 years before he joins the Legends, and even then, he ends up dying a hero. Like Mick said, he's like, you're going to end up becoming a better person. You might not want to hear that now, but you're going to die a hero, right?
Right.
Malcolm Merlin goes on to just be, like, nothing. Like, he has nothing. He's literally just a bum. He's a bum sitting on a couch. And, damn. Like, again, he doesn't even get that. He didn't even get the moment. He didn't even get that moment. And if you think about it, because... everyone else had to be dropped off at a certain point and have their minds wiped. Malcolm didn't. Like, nah, dude, you were from the present. So, yeah, nah, you're a bum.
That's a lot of fucked up memories to just have.
Yeah, you're just a bum. You're a bum. You're a bum with a bum hand. Fuck you, you know? But, going back to your Sarah, I think... when we talk about season 1, we always talk about the Hawks and how terrible it was, and Vandal Savage wasn't a great villain. But I think you're right. Like, when you're watching that show, Sara Lance was the person we all wanted. Like, we're like, wait, every time we had an episode where Sara Lance got to be Sara Lance, we're like, damn, we really like this should be the Sarah show. Like, why are we gonna call her Captain Sara Lance? Captain Lance, because I know he's Rip Hunter. I know he's supposed to be captain, but I'm not really feeling him right now. I think Sarah's better. And they adjusted the show. And not just adjusted the show, I feel like because we went through that part in season 1, and I'm not trying to, make season 1 seem a lot better. No, there were definitely problems with it. But because they didn't completely erase that, we went through that with Sara Lance. This season feels even more earned. Like that moment with Rip basically trying to sneak off this ship and going, "You don't need me anymore. They have a captain. This is your ship. Like there's nothing. There's nothing. You not only are you guys better. Not only is there nothing I can teach you. You guys are better without me. They have you now. You don't need me." And I'm like, it felt
Which
earned.
turned out to be kind of untrue.
Oh no! There's an easy way to break Rip Hunter back now. Because
Let's be real, Rip's a liar.
Well, here's the thing, and I think this is something that we realized a couple episodes ago. The place for Rip on the show is being the guy who was a time master who knows about things like this. He knows the rules. He might not be a good leader. He might not be a good captain, but he knows the rules of time travel more than anybody else on that ship still. And I think that's Rip's place on the Wave Rider on the Legends team. And so when you I'm assuming they bring him back next season, you don't have the butting of heads of who's in charge, because it is Sara Lance in charge, but you need that specialist on time, which is what Rip Hunter is.
You need to be able to say, "Hey, Rip, can we do this?"
Yeah, and plenty of times you're going to go, "No, we shouldn't do that." And I love his reaction the entire time when they meet when they're meeting themselves, like, "Yeah, no, we shouldn't do this. This is not good. This is bad." And then his other self is like,
Rip got off.
"Huh?"
I bet that's why Rip got off. I was like, this ends poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
What do you mean? I just feel like it's time. You're the leader now. Time for you to go.
Yeah.
Wow, Rip, you should have matured quick. Yeah. Let me off fast, please.
Yeah. What I like about what was great about this episode too is they could have and we talk about how dark the other seasons have been, and that's kind of been avoiding what they've done on Legend. Like Legend hasn't gotten that dark. Even when they did Doom World, it wasn't super super dark. There were definitely some crazy things, but they didn't do anything super super dark there. Like they kill people here. Now, granted, they have an out in that there's two sets of legends, but Thawne literally rips Ray's heart out of his chest.
Jackson watches himself die.
Yeah, like
I hope they play that up because that's fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, like they did a good job of removing their powers. He had a great way of not having Firestorm, right, for a little bit. Hey, Stein never the original Stein never got his memory back. He never got the original reality.
Well, not even that. Jackson doesn't have his Firestorm powers.
Yeah.
Even if his memory was back, they don't have the powers.
Yeah. So Stein is there. Nate couldn't steal up. Like they don't have their power. Like it allowed a way for them to be vulnerable, and you just see these people die, and it paid off in so many things. Like you said, you get Jax seeing himself die, but then also Stein seeing Jax take an arrow for him. And I think that's important because you see, you guys know how I feel about Stein anyway. So I'm not the biggest Stein fan anyway. But I think him seeing Jax, seeing how much Jax is willing to protect him, I think not only will Jax seeing himself die affect Jax, but I think Stein seeing that Jax took an arrow for him and sacrificed his life for him, it's also going to affect Stein as well, as it should. So, yeah, I mean, I just the way they handled it all, and they like I remember when we got mad at the Amaya Nate thing. You were just like, man, this is I don't know. Hey, did a pretty good job with it. Like
it made a lot more sense at the end.
Yeah, I mean, again, if I had my choice, wouldn't have done it. But if you're gonna do it, hey, they at least handled it better than anything they did with the Hawks. They handled it better than they did with that Ray and what I can't remember what her fucking name was. Kendra. They did better. Try to avoid the Hawks as much as possible. They did a better job of like that relationship came in the middle of the season out of nowhere. With this one, same thing, but it felt way better and handled it a lot better. And yeah, I mean honestly, compared to some of the other relationships they do on the CW shows, not too shabby. Not too shabby. Got to shout out the MVP of this episode though, and you know who it is.
It's MVP of the series.
Mick, yo.
Mick.
Why don't we just go to Aruba?
I'm like, yo, point to the line, man.
Later on, is Aruba would have been a better option. Like when they're talking about going back and maybe sacrificing themselves and meeting them. Like Aruba would have been a better option. Never stolen anything from myself. No, never stolen something from myself before. And
So
then
tell us what happens. Dead, good as dead. Like I love it. Like
oh
just,
yeah,
like
yo, just
Mick, you gonna sugarcoat it, Mick? No. Dead, good as dead.
him drinking a beer during the time storm when they're on the ship and the ship is going around. He's just drinking a beer. Like it's
Look, his thirst must be quenched.
oh my goodness. You hug me, I will kill you. Like it just it's just oh man. Like you said, MVP of the series. I love what they did with that. And even just seeing his growth as a character. And with Snart and stuff like that. It's just been and when you think about how far talk about Sara Lance, think about how far Mick's come. Remember, Mick became, that time bounty hunter at one point and was hunting the legends down and he's been through a lot himself. So it's nice to see that Mick has found a group of people that he can trust and believe in who aren't as toxic as Snart is. Right. So no, I mean it's just overall just the way that they tied everything together and the character moments they did in the show. I'm gonna say something here. Like I think one of the things that made this season, and I think this out of the CW shows, this and Arrow, and I think that the writing on this season was a lot tighter. I think 17 episodes. They might need to look into this for all their shows. To be perfectly honest. 17 episodes is a weird number of episodes to have for a season, but if you look at Legends of Tomorrow, it worked out pretty well. Like they nailed it in 17. Didn't feel like they needed less or more. Like I think they did everything they needed to do in 17 episodes, and I think that might alleviate some of the problems we've seen. And well, again, we'll see what goes on with the Flash, but hey, maybe part of the problem is they're 5 episodes too long. And you make a tighter story in 17.
Yeah.
Maybe you make a tighter story in 17 and knock it out. But this is a show that had a really good arc. And I feel like from beginning to end, we really enjoyed the story that was being told in those 17 episodes. And again, I can't remember a super filler episode, in there. So
you know what the biggest sign is? At no point did we say, well, where is it all going? Like, we never got impatient with the show, you know what I'm saying? Like, even while they're rolling out the story, we were kind of here for it.
Yeah.
There are times on other shows where we're like, where is this headed? Like, come on, I feel like you're treading water. We felt that about lots of other shows.
Exactly.
I never felt that about this season of Legends.
No, not at all. And I think they really get some credit, need some credit for that, and did really, really well, really great job for that. So it's just, yeah, that's great. And the other thing too I love about it is it kept the fact that this show is so comic booky. Like the whole concept of this episode is just pure comic book, right? You now have 2 sets of legends, one with powers, one without. They're trying to find ways to stop the Legion of Doom from getting the Spear of Destiny. Thawne goes to get backup, which is just a bunch of other versions of himself from the timeline. Like, it is just, like, when he shows up and there's all these Thawnes there, I'm like, this show is so comic booky.
We go get some backup.
It might, like, at this point, it might have reached past the comic book nature of the Flash. Like, it is just, like, that is just an insane concept to have and to go with. And they didn't shy away from it at all. And it also never felt like it was too much. You know? Like, it was just enough, and it still had enough time to get the character moments in there for each of the characters. You felt it, for all of the characters there. But yeah, man, it was really, really well done. Really well done. I was gonna say, I even love the opening they did for this, where they kind of recap how they got there. It was kind of different from all the other openings they done on the series, but it fit for the weight of what you were gonna get, and getting to this point of, hey, yeah, man, how do you solve this? I don't know.
I tell you what, man, the performances of the actors this week, everyone really brought their A game. I can't imagine how annoying this must have been to shoot.
Oh yeah, just have an argument with yourself.
And be like, because that's like a double shoot day. Like, you got to run every scene twice.
Mm-hmm.
And like my fiance was watching the show. She didn't watch the season, but she was like, what the hell is going on? I gave like a light explanation. She's like, all right. And by the end of it, she was really compelled about like these alternate versions of these people she had just met dying, because they sold everything. Like, it was very comic book, like you said, but the reason it lands, the reason comic books work, is because it's grounded in real emotion.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, and there are things that matter. Like I said, when Thawne kills Ray, like, you feel that, because at one point you're just like, yeah, Ray, you play too much. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I felt like Ray had that coming, because I'm like, you're playing too much, Ray. Like, you guys don't realize who you're fucking dealing with right now. And the minute Thawne wants to kill you all, he will. And he fucking did. And like, when he went and did something to Ray, I'm like, wait, did he take out a module? Oh, he took his heart out. Oh, it's gonna be this kind.
I couldn't tell at first, and I was like, oh,
it's gonna be that kind of episode.
He just picked up a bit.
Yeah, we're like, oh, is this? Because at one point I can't remember who it was from the show. Maybe it was a writer, somebody. They retweeted, because somebody was like, oh, the show starts in an hour. Like, so many people died this episode. And I was just like, sure, whatever. Okay, you're not killing anybody. And then Ray's heart got ripped out of his chest, and I was like, oh, you guys are going to kill a bunch of people. Okay.
It's that moment where you're like, this is going to be a pretty good finale, too. I should probably pay attention.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, people aren't going to fucking make it. So, like, Amaya was already gone in the previous.
I mean, they make a good point, like, the time paradox, they can't actually like make it, but they'd have to show us killed him, so we're kind of curious how they're going to play it off. But yeah, they killed him.
And the thing that really sold it for me, that really did it for me, is that end with Sara Lance with the spear, where she wants to give it to Maya, but she can't, and so she's the one that has to. Because again, remember, she was all this talk about how she couldn't be the one to control. Why? It also explains why when Amaya told her before, just use the spear. Why Sarah was so against using the spear. She didn't feel like she was worthy, but when you think about it, that's the person who should use the spear. The person who's worried about everything they could do. The person that's worried about, changing too much and doing all the changes. And then that scene with her and Laurel, that was great. That was a great scene.
What you just pointed out is going to come to fruition also in Infinity War. Spoilers.
What?
The power being in one person's hand and not wanting to do it. And that's literally the last 10 minutes of Infinity War.
Yeah. I mean, so, like, that scene with her not wanting to speak, and then having that conversation with Laurel, and then knowing that, she could do what you can bring everything back, you can have your sister back, you can do everything, you change all, but she was like, but you won't. You won't do that. And she just goes back and she makes the one little change. To depower the spear, like, and it's such a small change, and it basically, fixes everything that was broken, and yeah, I mean, it was this really was Sara Lance's season. Everything we've done, everything we've seen, was about her being. You got to remember, even beginning of the season, it was when nobody knew who the captain was really supposed to be, and so there's Stein at one point trying to be captain, and I was like. Everybody's like, it's fucking Sara Lance. Come on, stop fucking around.
But I like the show. I like that the show showed us why it's supposed to, like, dictating to us how to be Sarah. It was like, even all of us who've been watching, I think they've just been like immediately Sarah. We're like, all right, I guess that's. I mean, that's how it should be. But it was more. It was a great way to add some weight to early episodes by doing that. It made those lighter episodes that have more narrative heft because they mattered for our cast. They mattered for who the lead of this series is, which is obviously Sara Lance, Katie Lutz. Like, it's amazing. She does. Yeah. She's an amazing actress and does a great job with this role. And I loved the two of them trying to both talk to Gideon and both sit in the captain's seat.
Yes.
Like,
Again,
it was just little things like that. I was just like, this, two Sarahs, you're right. The idea is awesome, but it wouldn't work.
What's better than one Sara Lance? Two Sara Lances. Not sure.
More is always better.
Well, I like the idea of when they first show up and you realize there's two of them there, and Sarah goes off. I need to think, and the other Sarah goes to talk to her and explains what happens, and you can just see like it's why she's such a great leader, because you can tell that this stuff weighs on her, and she doesn't really want to be the leader, but she's great at it, and she makes this, and she's the one that everybody looks to anyway, and that's the mark of a great leader, not the person who goes out there Stein and declares himself the leader. It's the one that's good at it, but doesn't demand it all the time and doesn't really want that weight, but they'll bear it because they have to, and that's what Sara Lance is. Like you said, we got those earlier episodes of people we all knew it should have been Sarah, but we had to get there because we had to get there organically to make the moments at the end of this season matter even more, you know? And like I said, at one point I was like, oh, they're going to give the spirit to Amaya and have Amaya do it. But after later, I was like, well, no, it has to be Sara Lance. That makes even more sense because Amaya's already kind of shown that she kind of wants to, end of the episode, to, change time and not stick to the script. Sarah's kind of been the one that has had that temptation with Damien Dark before and had to learn the hard way that I can't do that. I have to be, I have a higher purpose than that. So it always had to be Sara Lance. But I love the idea that it made you for a while there think that, hey, it should be Amaya. Let Amaya do it. Amaya will do it right. So, yeah. Speaking of which, Amaya thing on the ship is literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Now, and not from a show point of view, just from the Legends. I'm like, oh, you guys are so legending this up. This is such a Legends move.
I want, on the one hand, I'm like, you continue to roll the dice with her being outside of her spot in Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
But like for me, I honestly thought she'd go back and then Nate would stay with her.
Well, see, that's what I'm thinking too. I was like, and maybe so happens. I'm like, what if? Because they never say who she married and had the kid with. Like, was it Nate?
And Nate's on the ship because it stated he does not matter in history.
Right.
Amaya was picked up, and she does.
Mm-hmm. So
if he vanishes from 2017, that's kind of poetic and like, and for all the gripes that we both had on how out of nowhere it came,
mm-hmm.
It would feel like whenever they tell that story, it'll feel like a really well-earned conclusion to them. For them.
And I feel like that's how it's got to end, like with Amaya and Nate going back to 1942, and that's where that comes from. Like I like the ending they did, where what the fuck did you guys fuck up this time? But I also think that that's how that story with Nate and Amaya has to go with. And now I feel better about it. Because I'm like, oh, wait. Like, it's just started clicking to me. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Nobody ever says who the father was. What if it's Nate? Like, what if Nate doesn't even go back? Here's the thing. What if Nate dies? Like, on a mission with the Legends next season. Then Amaya goes back, but she's pregnant.
There you go.
Just solved it. There we go. And now now everything makes sense to me. And now I'm fine with it. So, yeah. What else was I going to say? The ending. Didn't get the ending you wanted. I know.
I was chanting on my couch, Legion, 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 Legion.
And said we got a bunch of T-Rexes. That reminds me, we did get an email. I gotta keep going. I'll find the email.
It just, I'm glad. I think it's awesome because season 1 ends with them having broken all the rules by killing the Time Masters, who ruled over space and time. Mm-hmm. So this season was about them protecting space, protecting reality. Next season is about them trying to fix time because they have fucked it up.
Yeah.
They told them, Rip was like, we need the Time Masters. They tell us what to do. They need the Time Masters. We don't like what they did,
mm-hmm.
but we probably shouldn't kill them because they still protect all of time.
Mm-hmm.
I get that this was a very sad thing that happened, but dear Lord, we've got the dinosaurs in LA. Which one want me to do?
Dinosaurs in LA at 2017, yo.
Hey, shout out to CW for giving up that money because the Wave Rider clipped a building.
Oh goodness, clipped a building is putting it nicely.
And then crash landed in downtown LA. Bravo for paying for the finale because it looked fine.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, it looks amazing. This might be what happens when you put all your other shows on hold for a few weeks. Oh man, yeah, it looked amazing, and and what I like about that is you definitely had, you need some consequences from the time storm and time quakes you had before. Because at first it was like, you're getting in the episode, I'm like, yeah, but you didn't really get any consequences from them, meeting themselves and breaking time. So, that it? And then you realize it's like, no, you gotta definitely fuck things up. But
it also ties back to the reason we love Mick's intro.
Mm-hmm.
This is all our fault.
Yeah.
We were screwed up. Like, yes, this is that. You screwed up.
Exactly.
Yes.
You should have just gone to Aruba like Mick said. So.
Couldn't you just gone to Aruba, had some beers, relaxed? Thought it fixed global warming. Things weren't perfect, but I'm saying.
I'm just saying it, Oh man.
Gotta deal with him. Like, hey, look, I'll leave you alone. You'll give him some money, maybe a better reality a little bit.
Yeah, just come on, just
tidy up my life, and we'll be cool.
I mean, was the world really that bad? I mean, granted, all your friends, Damien Darkhead killed all your friends, so granted, there was that.
Not great, but ask to have your memory written. Ask to forget.
Right. Ask to be put back into the Matrix.
Yo, plug me in. Let's go. That's basically what he said.
Yeah, come on, just don't let me remember, yo. Just send me to Aruba with some of Nate's mom's sandwiches, and we'll call it a fucking day. All right?
We'll call it even, man.
It does. There is one thing that I will say, and again, not saying they can't fix this. And it's not really a problem with the show. It's a larger. I felt like, honestly, it becomes a problem with the Flash. To me, I feel like we've now taken two really great Flash villains, and can we ever use them again now?
Oh, yeah.
Because Dawn is erased from reality, officially now. And Snart dies in 2016.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, Thawne still exists in the past.
Yeah, well, does he? Because
it's not like we're gonna come to the Flash and come back and they've forgotten that Thawne happened.
No. I'm just saying, yeah, but can you ever use Thawne as
villain? His past actions are cemented. If his past actions occurred in our future, he's still out there.
Okay. All right. What about Snart?
It's the same way. Like last season's Flash was the first time Thawne had come back.
True. Yeah.
And he had to go back because the timeline had to continue.
Yeah.
This was the last remnant of what was left of Eobard Thawne after he was being chased down because his ancestor was destroyed. Because he himself was never killed.
You're right. What about Snart though?
I don't even know, man.
Yeah, that's the and
I think he can get there with Snart. Because if you tell me that, fucking with time and the guy who exploded at the vanishing point.
That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for.
You say and knocked him outside of time and then fucking around brought him back in. I could get away with that.
I'm hoping for that because, like, Thawne, like you said, I think there's a way with Thawne, right? Obviously. With Snart, like, if you don't bring him back, you can't do the rogues without him.
No.
And
Cold,
and I really want the next season of Flash to have like proper rogues, like have them. And granted, it still gets weird because then you have Mick on the Legend, so you're already down one of the rogues in Mick, and he'll probably never be a part of there. But you at least need Captain Cold. I mean,
look,
I've got
a scene in my head for the end of the first episode next season of Flash. Some minor rogue gets taken down as the villain of the week. Whatever happens with the Team Flash, It cuts to Iron Heights and him getting thrown in jail. And then getting beat up by a bunch of prisoners and guards. And then a whistle stops them all and says, name's Lynn Snart, I run this place. And it's him running Iron Heights. And then we get, that's the road. Like, that's the beginning.
I would love for that. I just need to know how we get Snart back there.
I wouldn't even ask questions. I'd be like, tell me later. That's fine.
No, you're right.
Just tell me later. I'll get it.
No, look, as long as they tell it, I'm fine with it, and I'll accept it. But I need. He's too good, man. He's too good. I need, and I know Prison Break is back, and so that affects some things. But I need Leonard Snart back on to because he's so, like, when we had the scene with him when he was in the Speed Force, when the episode Into the Speed Force with the Flash. And he was interacting with Barry. You forget, because we've only seen him interacting with the Legend so far, really. But when he was interacting with Barry, it's like, oh man, like, that's what Barry needs. Like, he needs a non-speedster villain who can outsmart him and who can get under his skin and can really, like, that's just, and who's just cool. No pun intended, but cool under pressure. And you need that villain. Like, you can't take. Like, I think there's a problem across the board with just comic book movies and TV shows and all over. They take really great villains off the board, and then I'm like, but you can use them so much more going forward. You got to keep these guys around. Even if you don't use them right then, don't kill them. Like, I'm still waiting for the Flash to bring back Captain Boomerang.
Okay, so he was tied up with Suicide Squad stuff. You know that, right?
Hmm?
So DC doesn't like, if you've got a movie coming out, they'll pull you from television shows.
Yeah, I know.
And that's what happened.
I know, and I'm just saying. But the great thing about him is, like, they didn't kill him. Like, he's on the island. So apparently, I think they're still feeding him. So I'm hoping so. So I mean, there's a way
to ask that question.
Right. I know. So I'm waiting for them to bring him back. And that'd be great. Like, yeah, now with Suicide Squad's out of the way, bring him back. Like, that's a perfect guy to bring. And you know what the thing about that is? That'll be a perfect replacement if you can't bring Mick back. And we love the interaction between Snart and Mick. Hey, I love to see the interaction between that version of Captain Boomerang and Snart, because they're still. It's a different Captain Boomerang than we've seen in the comics, but it will be an interesting contrast with Leonard Snart's character, you know. So yeah. So I would really love for them. Yeah. So again, it's not a knock on Legends of Tomorrow or anything like that, but just one of those things I was thinking about. I was like, hey, you know, these villains are really, really great. Let's make sure we still have them. Like, don't take away some of the, like. I almost feel like not having Snart and not having Thawne and having some really is one of the problems that we're facing right now with the Flash. Is we have Savitar, but because we don't know who he is and there is nothing really, we don't have anything tangible there. We don't have this character that's really getting under Barry's skin all the time, beyond just being, well, I saw a vision of him killing Iris. You know, it's kind of making the show suffer. So I want to make sure that next season they still have some of these villains on the table for Flash, because you can't be stealing other people's villains like that, man. Come on. Granted, they did a great job with them in Legends, but I got an email here. Jeremy said, now that you know how the end of the season, I'm confused by one thing. The Legends say they screwed up time of the timeline because Los Angeles is overrun by Tyrannosaurus Rex in 2017. But that is an improvement. T-Rexes always make things better. His Twitter handle is T-Rex Pushups, a.k.a. Godzilla Enthusiast. P.S. I'm mad at the real villain of the season, Ray Palmer. He ate a T-Rex egg. That I cannot forgive. Hey, if they tie the T-Rexes in 2017 to the T-Rex eggs that Ray Palmer ate, that'd be awesome.
Hey, that's the big bad right there.
That would be awesome. Yeah. What was her name?
like-
Gertrude?
so, like,
Gertrude or something? Yeah.
What if the first episode of Legends next season ends with like a time bubble and Cosmic Boy and Lightning Lad and Sidon Girl coming out? Like
You are really I know you are really
they broke time.
you're really looking for
Brainiac 5 would notice that.
You really want this to
There's a
happen.
Legion. Look, they put a Legion flight ring in that ship in season 1. I'm allowed to ask questions.
No, I mean they got to do it right. I mean, here's the thing. After they did the GSA, so why not?
Yeah, as soon as they hit another time zone, I was like, I said 31st century. They were like 2017. I was like, no.
Right? No, I was waiting on that too. I was waiting on them to hit the feature. They got it. They got to do it. They got to do it.
Oh, they have to. Yeah.
And 30 is that Thawne's century too?
No.
What is he? 35th? He's 30 something.
Something. It's weird.
I can't remember what.
It's hard to describe because it gets into like the alternate timelines of Flash.
No. But he's like on the show. What century did he see?
On the show, I'm not sure either.
I thought he might have been the 31st. That'd be interesting because they go back and they just erase Thawne from the timeline and they see a Thawne there. Oh, wouldn't that be something? Yeah. And Thawne becomes I think you said it would be Thawne becomes a legend.
Look, I was like, it's the Thawne on the ship, doesn't it?
Because here's the thing, Thawne still needs to get Gideon at some point. And Gideon needs to get into the wave ride. Like, there's a lot that we need to go on here. There's a lot that needs to go on here. So I'm very interested in seeing how this happens and what goes on. So, all right. Got anything to say about this season finale, man?
I just they knocked the season out of the park, man. The cast has got great chemistry. They found that place for Rip that we were worried about them trying to fit for him. Just each individual actor just kind of brought the A game all season. There's no weak link on this cast anymore. Even Nate grew on me, and I just think that the CW and Berlanti and them really found something special in this third show that I'm sure they didn't even know was going to get picked up when they pitched it.
Yeah, no, amazing. Like I'm that first season kind of hit and miss for us. They ended strong, but we were like, we'll see how they go and we'll see what they do. And this season has been perfect. They did everything they needed to do. Loved it, and really great. Like they literally dropped the dead weight on this show, and they got it down to what. And in a way, I think they embraced the crazy and the weird. And because it seemed that first season they would kind of go somewhere with it, but they didn't go all the way. This season they would go there. They would do it. Like,
oh
hey,
yeah, 100%.
What if the Legion of Doom really got the hold of the spear and changed reality? Hey, let's do. We did the Hall of Justice on the crossover. Let's do the Hall of Doom. Like, what? And they love showing that to us on the show. So this was really, really well done. Really happy, really glad, and not too bad. Not too bad at all. Again, so you can check the rest of the reviews on Super Tuesday Recap on iTunes, and you can also find us on mtrnetwork.net. We're done with Legends tomorrow, and truth of the matter is we're done with CW shows until the week of the 25th when they come back, and then we finish strong, hopefully, with Arrow and The Flash, and only got a few more episodes of those left. But that does also mean that once we finish with all this stuff, we'll start coming back to do more weekly comic book talks and talking about other TV show stuff and movie, because there's a lot of stuff going on there. We're not gonna do it tonight, but a lot of stuff. We can talk about it. Well, let's talk about it on the Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast. But there's a lot of stuff going on there and to check out. So just stay tuned, and till next time, folks. We're out of here. Peace.